Prepping lessons learned. Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. First off, if you guys watch my videos, if you like the videos, please subscribe. Please make sure you stay subscribed because it happens, you get unsubscribed. Comment below, please. I love comments. Try to keep up on them, although I lose track because there's so many comments now. It's awesome. Share the videos, thumbs up, all the things. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I do this for you guys because I want to empower you to be more prepared. So, prepper lessons learned. Number one, I learned today from my neighbor, lady across the street. Well, kind of through the woods across the street, through their property, over there. I thought maybe I was overwatering my garden. As you guys have seen my garden and stuff like that, I thought maybe I was overwatering. Well, come to find out, looking at hers and all the growth in her garden and the state where she's at, knowing that we planted about the same time, I may have planted some things earlier, stuff like that, you know. Come to find out, I'm underwatering. And this is why I talk to you guys about the whole homesteady things, growing your own food and stuff like that. Practice gardening now. It's a skill. I'm learning as I go. And I'll admit my faults and my mistakes. That's something I found out just today. Well, yesterday by the time you see this video. But I learned just today that I'm underwatering my garden. So that's a big thing, right? I could have way more production. I could have produced more food for my family if I was watering properly. So all these lessons learned things. So just a sec, we'll get to the next one. Next lesson learned. Second lesson learned. Okay, a while back we did a practice bug out to our primary bug out location. What did I find? Came to some harsh realities. Okay, it is extremely remote. Extremely remote. And what happened when I packed up the back of my truck was, where are a lot of my tools? In the toolbox in the truck, right? That's where my tow straps are. That's where my chains are. That's where my maul was. That's where my axe was. And my chainsaw, I set on top of it. But by the time I packed everything in, where is it? Camper shell on, you got to understand. A lot of it packed all the way up. Where is that gear that I need when driving up to my bug out location? There's, big, everywhere from, smaller to bigger trees down to cross the road, which is a good thing. I'll tell you that. That's one thing that's good indication, is that these trees were down. And I could see by the way they broke, where they broke, the weathering of that area of the tree, that they hadn't just broke recently, that they were there long enough knowing that nobody else has gone up to our bug out location, our cabin. So that's good. But when you need to get to your bug out location and you got logs down, trees down across the road, and you buried your stuff in there, yeah, big mistake. Lessons learned. So what did I do? Prepper ingenuity. This is another one of those things. Being able to think dynamically and to overcome situations that may arise. Semper Gumby, which is always flexible. You got to figure things out, right? A little bit of MacGyverish, right? So what did I do? I roll a 550 cord, a big roll, like 500,000 feet or something like that. So what I did is I ran it around my tow hook, my truck. I got a big, diesel 4-wheel drive. And I just went around the log, around the log, around the log, or through the tow hook, around the log, through the tow hook, around the log, made a bunch, knowing that it's probably going to be strong enough. And then, because the big diesel has a ton of torque, I was able to pull the logs out of the way. Sorry about that. My little girl made me aware that Chonky is back. Chonky is our little mascot squirrel. Actually, he's a chipmunk. So, or no, he is a squirrel. He's just a smaller squirrel. He's not a big gray squirrel. But yeah, he's back. He's running around here somewhere. We feed him sometimes, stuff like that. That's how I get corn growing up randomly all over my property, because we give them feed corn and then they bury it or drop it and it sprouts up all over the place. But anyway, I was able to overcome the situation with making do with what I had. I had all the proper tools though. So what this did was it made the process a lot longer, a lot more arduous. Would it have been quicker if I would have dug out all the appropriate gear? I don't know. I would have had to move a lot of stuff. So that is the second prepper lesson learned. Third prepper lesson learned comes back to gardening. I always thought, okay, when I'm watering, to just, get the sprayer out and spray all over everything. All over the leaves, all over everything. Because I figured, well, hey, that's the way God does it. So it's good enough for God, it's good enough for me, right? Well, there's a better way to do it. Getting down below, in between the rows and stuff like that. And if you're using a sprayer or whatever it is like that, to flood the area, get enough water like I talked about before. But to get down under there, it just makes it, it avoids, the leaves getting burnt if you're doing it in the sun, whatever. It just avoids some issues. All of which I'm not aware of necessarily. I'm not a master gardener. I'm learning as I go. So watering underneath. And also be careful, like things like that. Squashes, try not to get water on the squash itself. Because I had noticed some things like a bunch of my squashes were rotting on the ends before they got, yay long. And zucchinis and stuff. And I'm like, what's going on? Why am I losing all these? May have been underwatering. And it may have been the heat that we had here on, record all-time heat, as well as maybe getting some water on them. So it's a combination of things, I think. But anyway, that is prepper lesson learned number 3. Prepper lesson learned number 4. Happened the other day when I'm cleaning some stuff out of my carport, just reorganizing stuff, cleaning stuff up. So what happened? I had this big, let me see, I'll stand back here. So about that wide, by yay, or that long by yay wide by this tall, really thick styrofoam container. I think years ago my wife ordered some frozen foods and it came in the mail like that, shipped like that. So I thought, hey, that's a good thing to throw. I had a 25-pound bag of rice and a 25-pound bag of beans in there, and it was just sitting there. It has the little groove, it's this wide, so there's a little groove through it. And then it basically tongue and groove. The lid had the male end, the base had the female end, and it just fit together. So I thought, okay, that's good to go. I don't have to worry about that. Nothing's getting in there. It's good to go. Yeah, well, I was wrong. Mice, it's amazing, mice and rats, what they'll chew through and what they'll fit through. Because I looked around the edge and I didn't see much damage. There was, however, a spot where I guess they were able to get in because there were mice droppings inside the box, and the rice bag had a hole in it. So that's 50 pounds of food I lost. I just threw in the back of the truck, took it to the dump today, along with a bunch of other stuff I'm purging out of my life to downsize and get minimal and to be truly happy. But anyway, that's a different topic. So yeah, we got to be careful what we store things in. Proper storage avoids food loss. That's 50 pounds of food I'm out now. Sure, it's only maybe 30 bucks. It's under 30 bucks. But still, it's food I didn't want wasted. So make sure you're storing things properly. Prepper lesson learned number 5. And this isn't necessarily a lesson I learned myself. It's something I did in the military with that style equipment. That we don't talk about here. We talk about that stuff on Patreon. Link in the description below. Hundreds of videos, $1 a month, well worth it. But anyway, anytime you have a fastener that is, it is imperative that that fastener stays put in any kind of equipment that you might have. Different parts, pieces. You can use Loctite, right? Make sure you use the right one for the right application. But what's another way you can do to make sure that fastener hasn't backed out? Quick visual indication of that fastener. Take some of the little model enamel paint that we used to paint model aircraft, model tanks, model cars and stuff with as kids. Take some of that, get a little paintbrush, get, what I like is like a deep red. I don't want a bright red, even though it's a little tiny mark. I just don't like bright colors on things like that. but I like a deep red. And then what I do is you just paint a little bit on the across the top of the head of the fastener, down the side of the fastener, onto the item. And that is a quick visual reference. You will see if that fastener has turned, loosened, or anything like that. Unless it does an exact 180 and lines up exactly with the paint again, which is highly unlikely, you will have a quick visual indication that that fastener has backed off, has loosened. Thus, maybe something's off with your system or whatever it is you don't want that bolt or that fastener to back off of. So that is prepper lesson learned number 5. Okay, this is not a prepper lesson learned, but it was something really cool that we saw happening right in front of us. This little snake, see that? I don't know if you can see, hopefully you'll be able to see, up in his mouth is a slug, a banana slug. He's eating the banana slug. That is awesome. He's helping out the homestead and protecting the garden. So he is our honorary homestead defense force member of the day. That's awesome. We have these little garter snakes all over the place. We don't have any poisonous snakes here in Western Washington, so we don't have any worry of any snakes. So any snakes we see are good. I had no idea they ate slugs though. Here, see, you'll get a little close up. Pretty cool. I just wanted to show you guys that because I thought it was pretty cool. Prepper lesson learned number 6. It's not a really big one, but anybody that uses 550 cord for shoelaces, this can apply. So what I try to do, it was up at our bug out, primary bug out location during that same bug out practice that I did a 550 cord shoelace video for you guys here on YouTube. It's way back. That one was like, actually that trip was about 2 years ago, so it was a while back. But what I thought I would do is just in place cut the ends off that I had melted and then tied knots in. So I clipped the ends off, and what I figured I would do is the internals that I was trying to get out to use, that I would just pull them through while it was still in my shoes. No, that doesn't work. So if you want to do that, to save yourself some time, if time is important to you, just take your shoelaces out, cut the ends, pull the cord through, then remelt the ends so they're easier to get through the eyelets of your boots or your shoes, whatever it may be, and then put them back through. So yeah, that's my prepper lesson learned number 6. Prepper lesson learned number 7. If you have one of these, fifth wheel, flat tow, trailer, anything like that, and it has propane bottles in these little compartments, mine are up there, make sure that those bike cables for bike chains, for locking up bikes, like mine has 2 tanks. So the way they are is the door does not lock. It's not a locking door. So here's 2 things that I learned from lessons learned from friends that had their propane bottles stolen from their travel trailers, because they go through this thing and they use them for running these little burners to cook meth and different things. So take a bike chain, go through the bottle handle, and then hook it off somewhere. Secure it somewhere on the trailer. And then another thing you can do also to add even more security is get one of the little hasps, the little thing that has the little D-ring, the little loop coming out of it, and then the thing comes across, the little gate comes across, you put a padlock through it, screw it on. Install those in any of these things you have external, if you have a travel trailer, any of those doors that don't lock, or even if they do lock. Add those on every single one with padlocks. I get it. Somebody may have one of those master keys and may just come and cut it. But maybe it'll slow them down a little bit. Maybe they'll think twice. Maybe they don't have the proper tools to steal it. It's all about slowing somebody down. And also security, a lot of security is about appearances. Security is an illusion. If you have the appearance of being a hard target, you have decent security. So that's prepper lesson learned number 7. Prepper lesson learned number 8. This has to do with gardening also. If you can see over there on the far edge, or right about there, See how where the topsoil ends and then the top of the bed, there's that little gap? That's called settling. When you build it, it was even. It had actually a positive bubble over the top of it. And it settles because that's what happens with dirt, right? This is a topsoil, 50-50 topsoil mushroom compost mix that's in the whole bed. And it settles. So year after year, what you do is you just add to it. You add more to it to keep the level up. And or whenever you go to do it, you can get a really good, here's the edge of the bed. Build up kind of a thing, a little bit of a slope so that it doesn't crumble over. Build up a little bit of a slope and do, a couple inches. Do a 2, maybe 3 inch, because mine's gone down it's about 3, almost 4 inches. And this was just done this season. So that's something to think about. That's prepper lesson learned number 8. Prepper lesson learned number 9. Firewood. As you can see the differences, see this piece of firewood? This piece of firewood, that's good. That's good firewood. See how these are all old and rotten? They are. They're old and rotten. So if you're using it to heat your house via wood stove, not the best option. Good option. Good option. That's off camera. Anyway, the old rotten stuff though, don't get rid of it. Use that for your campfires. Use that for learning to cook outside. Learning to cook with your cast iron over a wood fire, campfire outside. So don't get rid of it. And if you have to use it to heat your home in an emergency, you have more on hand. So yes, this is old, rotten wood. We use it for our campfires. So that's another prepper lesson learned. Okay, please subscribe, please hit the like button, please comment below, please share the videos. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just some random prepper lessons learned that I thought of, that I have learned from, and that I thought maybe you guys would be of use to you guys. So, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Talk to others about prepping. Help get others involved in preparedness. It's very important. We need more assets, less liabilities. Okay? Please. Work on your fitness. Eat healthy. Remember, prepping is living insurance. And your food storage is your emergency fund. You got to be growing your own food. You got to be raising your own food as much as you possibly can. I get it. A lot of people are on limitations due to where they live. But please do something. Also, be working on your skills. Like I said, lessons learned from gardening. I'm learning. This is all a process. Someday, maybe I will be some kind of master gardener. Not yet. It's all a journey. We're all in this journey together. I'm enjoying the ride, though. It's a lot of fun. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.